Superdome and the All-State Sugar Bowl here in New Orleans, a game woven into the fabric of college football history, first played in 1935, and we've got a good one tonight. Baylor, the Big 12 champs, Ole Miss, proven in the SEC, 10 wins. Joe Tessitore alongside the national championship winning quarterback Greg McElroy. And I know everybody's saying, hey, it's such a playoff-centric world out there on the college football landscape. These two teams are very hungry to put a big notch in the belt and take this Sugar Bowl, Greg.
Yeah, well, while some teams might view a trip to the Sugar Bowl as a consolation prize, it's not the case for Ole Miss and for Baylor. Two teams trying to cap off historic seasons. For Baylor, trying to win their first major bowl game of the CFP and BCS era and a 12-win season for the first time. And Ole Miss trying to win an 11th game. First time in their school's history. Major opportunity for both programs.
And the star quarterback, Matt Corral, he's playing. He wants it. Ole Miss won the toss. They elect to receive. The dribbler into the hands of Ely. As he is taken down with good coverage. And Eli Manning introduces the Ole Miss star QB.
Talk about the kid from Cal, Matt Corral. In 2020, he led the FBS in total offense. This year, he threw for 3,000 and ran for 500, something nobody else in FBS can say. From this Rebel to a Rebel legend in the making, hotty toddy.
What a year he has had, and he played through the ankle injury, got injured against Auburn, but one of the most dynamic players in all of college football. Matt Corral knows Powder Blues as the home team. As Ely is met right away by this stout front of Baylor.
And the biggest thing for Ole Miss tonight going against an excellent defense is to get off to a really good start on the first drive of every series. When they are successful and gain more than 4 yards, they score almost 50% of the time.
2nd and 10. Here's Corral. With time, goes downfield. And that ball is intercepted by J.T. Woods, his 5th of the year.
And really the pressure up front applied by Siaki Ika, one of the best defensive tackles in the Big 12. He forces Corral to throw it off his back foot. And he forces it into multiple Baylor defenders who high point the football and take it away on the second offensive snap. What a great start for Dave Aranda's Bears.
Top 7 in the country in interceptions as a team. And now Gary Bohannon back at quarterback. He had the right hamstring injury, didn't play in the Big 12 championship game, but they can lean on that running game with this guy, Abram Smith, who is met by Chance Campbell, who is 4th in the SEC in tackles per game.
As you watch this Baylor offense, a lot of what their offense is predicated on is that off-tackle stretch play. They want to get the defense running horizontal and then use that big back in Abe Smith to hit it north and south after the defense sets their angle. It's a very difficult run to defend.
Bohannon, his first year as a starting quarterback, suffered a November injury. Blake Shapen came in, won the Big 12 championship. Bohannon now back healthy as he gives to Smith. Abram Smith, who played defense a year ago, played 8 games at linebacker, was originally a running back, and he has been something, over 1,400 yards rushing for the Bears.
Yeah, they decided that the starting running back was a little bit more important to the team than a serviceable linebacker, but Abe Smith has welcomed the challenge, and he is the star on this offense that has completely revolutionized the way they try to move the ball on offense.
After he goes for 8 yards, a 3rd and 2. Bohannon, that is batted right at the line of scrimmage. It was Jake Springer, the transfer from Navy, who has been a spark to this defense.
And just a great job by Springer, realizing the ball was coming out quickly, going vertical, tracking it, and getting a piece of the football. Just excellent job there, coming off the edge on the pressure.
4th down and 2. Both these teams have a very high risk-reward tolerance. Baylor, number 3 in terms of most fourth down attempts in the country. 4th and 2. Ebner's the running back. And a timeout is called by Ole Miss. So from Baylor's own 46-yard line, they were lined up to go for it on 4th down. We'll see how it plays out when we return to the Allstate Sugar Bowl. To go for it on 4th down.
And a good timeout. And if you look at it right there, they have 12 defenders on the field. So it would have been an automatic first down for Baylor had the ball been snapped. A good timeout there for the Ole Miss defense.
So from their own 46-yard line after the interception, Bohannon and Ebner in the backfield, 4th and 2. This is what they do. They go for it on 4th down and completing it, but coming up right at that line to gain and meeting R.J. Sneed was A.J. Finley. Look at this effort by Finley.
Just an amazing job of initiating the contact, and I think the spot's good. What a job by the defender. All made possible by getting through what was a little bit of a pick, or as we like to call it offensively, a little bit of a rub, designed to create a little bit of separation. But Lane loves what his defense just gave him, and that's a fresh set of downs on Baylor's side of the 50. Great answer from Ole Miss's defense after the early Corral interception.
So back to offense is Matt Corral after he was picked off by J.T. Woods. They take over on the plus side as Drummond takes the handoff, and Drummond will go for 8.5 yards there. Dontario Drummond with 8 touchdown catches on the year.
If you watch this Baylor defense, they do a great job of leveraging the football. They stay as wide as the widest, so you can imagine that Ole Miss can try to use that athleticism, and they're going to try to challenge Baylor on the perimeter.
They're going to run him again, and he will move the chains. So Drummond, 6'1", 220-pound, 5th-year senior wide receiver from Laurel, Mississippi. Now they like to go with pace, tempo. Ely remains in the backfield with Matt Corral, finished 7th in the Heisman. Here's Corral, pressured and taken down as Garmin Randolph comes up with the sack.
And this right here is going to be a theme all night long. This is a Puika. He basically forced the interception earlier. Now he beats the offensive lineman up front, Caleb Warren, and forces him right into the hands of Randolph. Just Ika has been a nightmare. It's only been about 5 offensive snaps. He's made 2 massive plays.
He's a massive man, goes 6'4", 350. 2nd and 17, and not much running against that Baylor front. As Ely can't find anything, just picked up 4 yards there. It'll be 3rd and 13.
If you're thinking about it here, Ole Miss, obviously, like you referenced, Tess, a team that loves to go for it on 4th down. So if you're Matt Corral, you don't have to get it all right now. Just give your coach a decision to make by making it 4th and manageable.
And swing it to Ely. And Ely trying to find a lane as he's taken down by Bernard at the 36-yard line.
Kind of in no man's land here with a 53-yarder likely out of the question with a backup kicker and Cal Nation taking over. So I think Lane thought he'd get a little bit more for it there, but as you can see, Ole Miss, no stranger, especially on the plus side of the 50, going for it at any down and distance.
Most 4th down attempts of any team in the Power 5. 42 attempts, 26 of them successful conversions, but this a 4th and 12.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Just trying to get a little more room. Didn't like the yardage of the gap wedge. You know that pains Lane to have to punt it.
No doubt about it. He loves rolling the dice on a 4th down, but Mack Brown will be out there punting away.
The Allstate Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure. Capital One. What's in your wallet? And Taco Bell.
10th appearance in the Sugar Bowl. You saw that great shot, vintage Archie Manning in 1970, then 46 years when they got back and defeated Oklahoma State in 2016. And now these Ole Miss fans, as we said, they've flooded New Orleans. But love this game, don't they?
They do. I tell you what, though, very impressed by the turnout that we've seen. We knew Ole Miss would be rocking for the late night and early morning, but I've been very impressed by the amount of green and gold we've seen from the Baylor faithful as well.
Mack Brown, the senior from Minnesota. Treston Ebner back on the return, calling for the fair catch. Had a muff in the Big 12 title game, but nice and secure inside the 10 here. So Baylor in that offense with Abram Smith back out there.
And he's a guy that can do so much for you. I mean, primarily playing on special teams, played a little running back, but the team said, we need more on defense. You're a physical presence. We need you over there. And then in comes Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, saying, we want to run the football, but we need a big back to do it. Well, I'm just going to go right over to Ron Roberts, the defensive coordinator, and say, hey, who's that number 7? Can we borrow him? Put him in the backfield, and the rest is history.
And here is Smith. And as he lowers the shoulders, an extra leg drive out to the 15-yard line. You know, it's funny, we talked to him, and he said, my mom, Rosie, said, I was just getting used to you playing linebacker. I was learning everything I needed to know about linebacker. Now you're going to running back again? Hey, Rosie, he's a star. He's a star at running back. Katie?
7 reps, guys. That's all it took. And that's all Jeff Grimes needed to see in spring practice. Him run the ball 7 times to know this is the guy that's going to make my offensive system work. And boy, has it.
6.1 yards per carry, 2nd and 3. Bohannon looking to extend, and now we'll tuck and run, and Bohannon with the extra effort will get it to the 20 and a 1st down. Let's take a look at tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
Yeah, and the aforementioned Abe Smith, it has to be him. He's incredible, and this is actually a very, very talented group of weapons for the Baylor Bears. Then on defense, Sam Williams, number 7, can provide a significant presence in obvious passing situations, but is good against the run at the end of the line of scrimmage.
Bohannon, some pressure right in his grill, and then a flick of the wrist out to the 31-yard line. A flag is down as he's able to get it to Tyquan Thornton, who's number 10 in receptions in Baylor history.
Holding, offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's what happens when you're going up against Sam Williams.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're going against the Chick-fil-A impact player. I'll tell you what, just told you how he can impact the play. He is able to set up just ever so slightly, head up to Khalil Keith, and then slip inside, and Khalil Keith just grabs him with that left arm, just enough for the center judge to make the call. He's going to be there all night long, and that's going to be an important matchup for the Baylor Bears because Sam Williams can and will take over the game if you let him.
Smith on 1st and 20. Able to get it to the outside, shave off 8 yards back.
And Gary Bohannon is a guy that's kind of taken a little bit of a back seat to this run game, but I love this kid. I love his story as well. A kid that bet on himself. Dave Aranda said, hey, I want this kid with us at LSU playing linebacker. Well, he went to Baylor because he wanted to play quarterback. And now look at the result. Very accurate, makes great decisions, and is very athletic with the ball in his hand.
Just love that mentality. Betting on himself, saying, I know I can play the position. I'm not going to play linebacker in the SEC. I'm going to be a quarterback at Baylor. Bohannon on 2nd and 12 gets it to Drew Estrada. Estrada, the transfer from Dartmouth. He put in good seasons for head coach Buddy Tevens.
Good job by Estrada, knowing where he was on the field, dropping that foot down in bounds. That's kind of what Baylor does. I mean, you're way behind the sticks, but now you give yourself a chance on 3rd and 8. Just a very smart football team that's great at playing situational football.
3rd down and 8. Remember, DJ Durkin's Ole Miss defense, number 6 in the nation in sacks per game. Let's see if they can get after Bohannon here. 3-man rush, they drop 8 instead. And Bohannon on 3rd and 8 trying to extend and then forced to run, and he is brought down. As that was Lakia Henry tracking Bohannon.
And Lakia Henry starting the night in place of Mark Robinson, who has to sit out the first half because of a targeting penalty in the Egg Bowl. Really good job of understanding, hey, this quarterback's a major threat with his legs. Got to keep your eyes in the backfield at all times, and as soon as he commits to the run, trigger. It's exactly what Henry did there, and he dropped him in the open field to force the punt.
Isaac Power onto punts away. He had a 61-yard field flipper in the 4th quarter of the conference championship game that helped. Drummond back for the return. Is this a knuckler that's well struck by Power? Drives him back to the 15. Drummond makes the most of it out to the 30-yard line. So each team with 2 drives and each team with just 1 first down as we are underway here in the All-State Sugar Bowl, New Orleans.
Most insurance companies won't pay without a fight, no matter how bad.
Welcome back to the Caesars Superdome, where we're still waiting for some points to be put on the board. During prep for this game, Matt Corral told offensive coordinator Jeff Levy, I'm playing in this game to win. I'm playing in this game so we can go make school history. Levy said, I took that as he'll do whatever it takes and we can run him if need be. Now, he did tell me they're not going to run him as much as they did at Tennessee, which was an insane amount, but he's playing free, no limitations as to what he can do tonight, guys.
That's right, Katie. That Tennessee game, and he was so tough as Parrish gets the call. Craig, he went 30 times for 195.
Yeah, and he's 190 pounds.
That's right.
You know, it's not like he's Cam Newton and he's 250, right? 190 at 31 reps will take its toll, but the guy continues to fight and will play through anything.
That is batted at the line of scrimmage. That's Matt Jones who got up in Corral's face. Matt Jones, who had such a smart play. Remember the Big 12 championship game? He reads the screen, drops into coverage, came up with the interception, now does this here.
Yeah, and they are just so aware. This defense is so incredibly well coached. They know quickly, as soon as Matt Corral pulls it and they can't get home, go vertical, see if you can tip the pass.
Third down and 8. Corral's going to run it himself and spin his way close to the line to gain, probably a half-yard short.
And even though it's at the 40-yard line, expect Lane to go for it. He's going to do it now with some tempo.
4th and 1, as they often do, and gets a helpful push, but it's going to depend on that mark from the line judge, Jeff Zink, and this Big Ten crew.
Very close. Didn't look like the surge got there, but as Rouse started to drift just a little to his left, might have had just enough, but I don't know. It's tough to see where the ball was when the forward progress was stopped. So you see Dave Aranda taking a close look. Look one more time. That ball is spotted with the nose right at the 41-yard line. There's Corral. Just a mass of humanity there in the middle.
Pull of the stick. That's a first down for the Rebs. They have gone for it on 4th down at least 3 times in 10 of their games this year.
Lane will tell you it's not necessarily about where they're at on the field. It's more how his offense is playing. Do they have any momentum? And how far is it to go? Right there, obviously opting to go for it in their own territory.
Ron Snodgrass heads up this Big Ten crew.
is no review on the play. It is a first down.
And I think that obviously every play is reviewed. But oftentimes when you're in a scrum like that, it's hard to see exactly where the ball is. So oftentimes when it is reviewed, it's going to be either it stands or confirmed when you review the spot of the ball.
So first down, design quarterback run. Look at the wheels on Matt Corral as he slides his way past midfield. And another first down.
What was that? Slide him?
Yeah, exactly.
He called a shot. Doesn't do that often, but they're wise as two Baylor defenders were closing in. It appears as though Jeff Levy has found something with the quarterback run game. Obviously not enough numbers in the box defensively for Baylor.
Corral. Little pop pass after he tucked it. Ball came out as Parrish couldn't secure it. And we will see how they rule this, as right now they are marking it down at the 41-yard line as J.T. Woods secured the ball. Remember, he had the interception earlier. Let's see, is this a catch and a fumble?
Rolling on the field was a catch followed by a fumble. First down.
J.T. Woods with the strike and then the
Previous
recovery.
plays under further review.
Wow, what a great hit by Woods. Just perfect shoulder into the body, head into the helmet. Boom. Obviously a heads-up play, too, by going and getting the immediate recovery. But based on the first couple looks, I have a hard time thinking this is going to be changed.
Quick break as they review it. They overturned it. They say it is not a catch. Let's bring in our three-time Super Bowl official, John Perry.
Joe, the issue is time. This player definitely gets control of the football. One step, two step, and right there with no time to perform an act common to the game, the ball gets popped out, which is why they went incomplete.
Incomplete pass is what replay comes up with. Short pitch to Parrish as he is cut down at the 45 by Christian Morgan.
Such a bang-bang play, but a massive one. I thought it was a catch and a fumble, but certainly see it going both ways. It's a tough break there for the Bears.
Third and 8, they're going to run Parrish again. Remember, we've talked about this when it comes to Ole Miss, how much they go for it on fourth down, and thus some of the play calls that you'll see on third down. Dylan Doyle with the tackle that time on Parrish.
And third and long, obviously, is for most teams an obvious passing down, but Ole Miss perfectly content to run it if the numbers are favorable, knowing that if they get close, it's four-down territory.
4th and 5 for the Rebels. Empty look for Corral. Corral looking to extend, now makes one move and picks it up, lowers the shoulder and says, "You can pinball me all night long, I don't care." Last college football game for Matt Corral. He's here to give it. 15 yards.
We told you he was a competitor, and it was most obvious when he has the ball in his hands as a runner. Just refuses to go down and fights the contact. Some guys are opting out, not Matt Corral. Finishes the run and picks up a huge fourth down conversion.
Snoop Connor getting work now off left tackle. And you hear the snoop and you see the freight train go for 10 plus. He's the bigger back. 5'10", 220. He's got 26 career rushing touchdowns. He's going to stay in there as they're quick to the line. A lot of movement up front.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Nick Broker, who is the tone setter there at left tackle. Got a little bit of an early start, but he wasn't the only one. There were 4 powder blue jerseys that are moving. The one that wasn't was the center. Just happened to pin it on the left tackle, who does an excellent job of setting the tone.
First down and 15. Play action. Corral look deep, now extends, goes to the right, near side to the sideline there, and it's incomplete as he was looking for Sanders. Sanders is the big play guy, leads the SEC in yards per catch, over 22. He's third best in the nation.
Excellent recognition there by Baylor's defense. Ole Miss tried to go with a little trick play. Baylor was not fooled, and they covered it up, forcing Matt Corral to throw incomplete.
Corral on 2nd and 15 as they're chopping down on his legs, and then they take him down high as well. Ika finished it. His first year at Baylor, after his time at LSU, as Petrie came in, and then Ika finished it off.
Ika having himself a night. Last time he played in this building, won a national championship with LSU. And he is having a huge impact so far.
And with that, a 3rd and 20 hole for Corral and the Rebels. Corral pumps. Pressure again, and they get to him. That was Cole Maxwell, the senior who has overcome 2 torn ACLs, and now Corral is struggling to get to his feet. He is in pain. You see him reaching for his right leg. The star quarterback is Luke Altmaier, the freshman backup quarterback, is starting to get ready. And you can see the pain that Corral is in.
You're just sick to your stomach. I mean, everybody. Knowing what's on the line for Corral, knowing how hard he plays, how much it means to him. It looks like he gets that right leg kind of trapped underneath him. He gets rolled up a little bit.
The weight of Maxwell at 295 pounds coming down on the lower portion of his right leg. These fans absolutely love what he has delivered to this program through the years, and especially this season. You see the looks of concern from Rebels fans who have watched Corral, who played through an ankle injury mid-season, was carted off the field against Auburn and returned to that game, and played a long stretch of the season when he was not even close to 100% healthy. And you know, this time of the year, and even with these tradition-rich games, how many big-time NFL draft prospects have opted out. That was not the case. Matt Corral told Katie, he said, I didn't even think about opting out. I wanted this. The relationships I have with my teammates, he said, I could never do that. He decided to play. And injured there as he's off to the medical tent. So that brings on Kale Nation, who has only made 1 field goal in his career as he was pressed into duty against Mississippi State. This from 49 yards. And it is no good. And now a quick look at the All-State fan cam.
Trophy secure. He's coming your way.
Well, Greg, here we are on a night where, and you've said in the lead up to this game, this is about celebrating these two teams and celebrating the superstar player and Matt Corral, who said, I'm playing this game. This is one of the top NFL draft prospects. Some mock drafts have him as the first quarterback taken. Todd McShay says second highest rated quarterback. Kuiper's got him number 26 overall, and he just left the game with a lower leg injury. As Gary Bohannon and Baylor back to work on offense. Chance Campbell with the tackle.
Of course, obviously, everybody anxious to see Matt Corral emerge from the tent where he's at right now. And the defense now in a difficult spot as well, knowing with a backup quarterback potentially the rest of the way, they're going to have to really play at a high level to keep this Baylor defense in check.
Short pitch to Ebner into the boundary, and he is met. Good pursuit that time by that front, including Lakia Henry, who, as we mentioned, is starting tonight at outside linebacker, as Mark Robinson was flagged for targeting in the Egg Bowl, so he misses the first half of this Sugar Bowl tonight.
Big third down here for Ole Miss's defense. Their sudden change after the missed field goal to get off the field on a 3-and-out would be massive.
Both teams have combined 0 for 6 on third down. It's been all defense so far in this All-State Sugar Bowl. Smith met right in the hole. Great run fit by DJ Durkin's front. And there is Corral needing help to make his way to the cart. Spent a good chunk of the year as one of the very top Heisman contenders. Led all SEC quarterbacks with 11 rushing touchdowns. And a sure thing first rounder who didn't opt out said, I'm going to play, and now he's being carted off as you're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl. Tessitore, Greg McElroy, and Katie George here, scoreless to start the second quarter of the Sugar Bowl. Katie, what can you tell us about Matt Corral?
Well, guys, he got on the back of the cart and was taken straight to the X-ray room here at the Superdome. Based on those results, Ole Miss's medical staff will make a decision. I'll keep you both posted.
4th down and 2 now for Baylor at their own 40-yard line. Commonplace for these two teams. Seen it already tonight. Smith on 4th and 2, and he's met right at the 40-yard line by Chance Campbell. Baylor now 0 for 2 on 4th downs. Chance Campbell, over 100 total tackles on the year, the transfer from Maryland.
And just a great job by Ole Miss's defense. Chance Campbell, who's been such a steady force there in the middle of this defense, makes the play and turns Baylor away on 4th down in their own territory. And I just have to scratch my head. I mean, I understand you got to be you, and you're not going to change what you do in the final game of the year. You're going to do what got you here, and that's be aggressive on 4th down. But knowing the quarterback circumstances for Ole Miss, I can't imagine being that aggressive with your offense on that side of the 50.
So America, say hello to Luke Altmaier, the true freshman from Starkville, Mississippi, home of their rivals, now playing in the Sugar Bowl for Ole Miss. And Altmaier's going to pass on his first play, and he's going to go downfield. A lot of contact, and he's going to get the PI as it was intended for Jonathan Mingo. McVay and Walcott had coverage on Mingo.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Ineligible receiver downfield, number 56. Pass interference, defense, number 13. The foul's offset, replay, 1st down.
Well, they took the shot with Altmaier, though, Greg.
Yeah, that you could see, because this is an RPO, you're going to see the offensive line just leak their way down the field. Altmaier sees one-on-one, decides to take it, but takes a little too much time. As you can see, the right side of the offensive line, more than 3 yards downfield. And a good job by this officiating crew noticing it, and a big penalty there for Ole Miss.
Really? So he's brought down by Randolph after 3 yards. So Luke Altmaier in for Matt Corral. Early enrolled as a true freshman, so he got some time in the spring. Prior to this, just 5 of 9 passing on the season. Did come in when Matt Corral was carted off the field against Auburn. As he goes to Dontario Drummond on 2nd and 7 as he was chased down.
Being at practice just yesterday, I mean, Luke Altmaier throws a really nice ball. He's accurate with the football. Not quite going to be the same level of efficiency as a Matt Corral, but knows the offense, can operate with tempo, and is a decent runner with the ball in his hands as well.
3rd and 6. Ely. Ely's going to have the 1st down and stays on his feet before being thrown out of bounds by J.T. Woods. The first third down conversion of the game for either team.
As you can see, Woods, who's jarred a ball free from Henry Parrish. Now he meets Ely. And 22, and White is flying around, delivering some blows, but Ely might have won that battle there.
Ely again, not much room this time, as Randolph was surging in, and then the rest of that defense pursuit to the ball cleaned it up. Got to go back to 1986 to see another first quarter that was scoreless. Been all defense. This is the second Ole Miss drive starting in Baylor territory, and we got zeros on the board. 2nd and 9. Connor, he is cut down. As Dylan Doyle, the two-way player, plays linebacker, plays fullback, makes the tackle.
I think a common misconception with Matt Corral, Lane Kiffin, and Jeff Levy, it's an aerial attack. That's not really who they are. This is a team that predicates their offense with running the football. As you can see right now, with a backup quarterback in the game, very comfortable still running the offense the way it was run with Matt Corral under center as well.
3rd down and 8, and that's what they'll do with Connor, as Connor is met at the 22-yard line. So Corral had to be helped off the field, had to be helped to the cart. Katie gave us the update. 4th down and 4. Never hesitation for Lane Kiffin. True freshman, backup quarterback Altmaier on 4th and 4. And he's going to run it, and Altmaier's going to get it.
Very nicely done there. Little counter. The Snoop Connor comes across, kicks out the end man on the line of scrimmage, and Altmaier wisely going down and avoiding the contact at the second level.
Back to Connor, who's searching for anything there as he lowers his shoulder pads at the 12-yard line.
This is a spot right here where you really have to be mindful of quarterback run if you're Baylor's defense. Matt Corral would often get a ton of opportunities to carry it with his own hands in this part of the field, and you got to think Altmaier will do the same based on what we saw just a moment ago on 4th down.
Braden Utley, starting defensive end tonight for Baylor, is down, being tended to. We'll take a short break. Back here at the All-State Sugar Bowl, Taco Bell bringing the Live Moss student section and its students to the All-State Sugar Bowl. Yeah, picking up the tab for the students from each school so that these passionate fans could come here to New Orleans and cheer on their team. How great is that?
Just awesome, man. Absolutely awesome, and these kids are bringing it. Tell you what, they've been fired up since about 8 a.m. this morning. I don't know how many of them slept, but I can tell you this much, they're having a heck of a time.
Did you hear Bourbon Street last night, New Year's Eve, Greg? I don't think they did. And this is Drummond again. He's been getting some work carrying the ball tonight. He is taken down at the 11-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. He only picked up a yard.
Ole Miss will rock you to sleep with some of these wide handoffs. As soon as they start to see those safeties for Baylor start to come up and attack, as soon as that ball goes into the belly of the running back, you got to be aware because that ball will go right in behind you, and they'll hit him one for a touchdown.
3rd down and 6 for the true freshman backup quarterback Luke Altmaier. Had a step in moments ago for the star Matt Corral, who left with an apparent lower leg injury. Altmaier batted and intercepted, and it's Walcott bringing it back. Could he? Wire to wire, sick 'em Bears. How about it? Six-yard pick six. Al Walcott.
And what a great tip, too, by number 52, Matt Jones. who recognized quickly that the ball was coming out. He throws his hands up, tries to get out underneath it. And the ball's deflected into the awaiting arms of Walcott, who takes it to the house.
You know, it's interesting. We talked to Ron Roberts, their defensive coordinator. He said Walcott, he's just a playmaker. Just finds a way to be around the ball and always makes something great happen. You want great? How about this? You're playing in the Sugar Bowl. It's prime time. And a 96-yard pick six off the batted ball.
Want to stay up to date? Just tell Siri, show me the college football schedule.
Well, that schedule will include the big one on January 10th, College Football National Championship presented by AT&T, as mighty Georgia and Bama will be meeting up to decide it. The rematch of that SEC title game that Bama won by 17. Boy, moments ago, what a play we had here by the Baylor defense. 7-zip off the 96-yard interception return for a touchdown that guy Matt Jones deflected the pass on, then got out in front and said, I'm going to be the blocker too, bro. I'm going to help every which way for Al Walcott.
Said, I'm not going to let Dylan Doyle be the only fullback that also gets to play defense. I'm going to play fullback on the pick six. Very well done there by the edge defender.
Yeah, I mean, Jones has been on fire lately. That Big 12 championship game, he had a tackle for loss, a forced fumble, an interception, a quarterback hurry. And tonight he gets a piece of that pass right into the hands of Al, who said, I'm going to speed down the sideline for 6.
We'll show you what Luke Altmaier was looking at. I mean, there's a lot of green grass, and he just hit right here. I mean, that's an easy completion, potentially looking at big yardage. But Matt Jones clearly recognizes it. He's right here. He's going to see quickly that Altmaier pulls it out of the belly of the running back and attempts the pass. He immediately drifts out underneath the throw and then goes and leads the convoy to the crib. Very well done by the edge defender, Matt Jones. So aware and so opportunistic is this Baylor defense.
I think Dave Aranda and Ron Roberts can coach a little bit of defense. 18 interceptions now on the year. Haven't given up 30 points in a game this season. Cincy and Clemson, the only other teams that did that in the regular season. So Luke Altmaier, the freshman, right back out there. And he swings it to Parrish. And Parrish will get himself out to the 29-yard line. TJ Franklin with the tackle there.
And obviously, Ole Miss is going to have to start to sprinkle in a few throws down the field. Obviously, working with a young quarterback, want to get his confidence built, but have to challenge his defense deep at some point.
2nd and 6. As Parrish weaves his way ahead to the 33-yard. Might be 3rd and short from there. Jalen Petrie with the tackle. Jalen Petrie, who had 17.5 tackles for loss this year. Consensus first-team All-America, the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. 3rd and 2. Altmaier will give to Drummond, and Drummond able to turn the corner and then long stride it for something more and move the chains.
Very nice there with the poise, because the snap was not perfectly timed. Drummond had to hold up for just a half second before it got handed off around the edge. It was well blocked on the perimeter, but those are the things that happen when your backup quarterback's in. The timing gets just a little bit thrown off, especially on jet sweeps.
Well, give me a sense in terms of how many reps Altmaier is realistically getting in a lead up to a bowl game. As he runs the RPO here, and he'll be taken down by Woods. You know, you get to 15 extra practices, so how much work is a guy like Altmaier getting?
Well, Lane Kiffin obviously comes from the Nick Saban tree, so I know their practice schedule pretty well. Right. And they usually, in a 12-play sequence, the backups will get roughly 5. If the 10-play sequence, maybe 4. So he's getting probably 50% less of the reps, which is significant for a young quarterback.
2nd down and 9. Has a lot of time here. He's going to check down, but well read as that I'm going to say this is incomplete, as Tejada was right on top of it. Now, with the extra bowl practices, I know sometimes they'll use those as developmental days, that first week of the 15 bowl practices. Matt Corral's heading off to the NFL. Perhaps a little more time for Altmaier in the month of December?
Yeah, if this is going to happen, God forbid, to happen in a bowl game is a little more manageable because the young quarterback has been given real reps for the first time in quite a while. Matt Corral doesn't need any more development. Start to think about next year, and Altmaier is going to be the guy that's going to benefit from that.
Well, right now they need 9 yards. 3rd down and 9. Good protection for the true freshman, but it's incomplete as he was trying to connect with Pearson, but Mark Milton was there defensively.
And that right there, ball's just late, and it allows the defender Milton to close and break up the completion to Ja'Cory Pearson. If that ball's thrown on time, you're in business. But Altmaier took a second hitch, didn't trust it, and as a result, Baylor was able to recover and break up the pass.
Mac Brown on to punt. Treston Ebner, the Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year, is back deep, but this is skied over his head and out of bounds. 7-zip our score, nearly halfway through this second quarter as you're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl. Lane Kiffin's team down a touchdown and without their star quarterback, Matt Corral. Katie, you have an update.
Yeah, guys, I've just been told that Matt Corral is doubtful to return, and they're not just missing his on-field production. They're missing his presence over here on the sidelines. Every time a mistake happens, Corral is the guy bringing guys together, huddling them up, pulling somebody off to the sides one-on-one, hyping them. He's the voice that everybody listens to. He's the guy that everybody turns to, and right now they're missing that presence.
Abram Smith with a good run. Look at Abram Smith. They were pinned at their own 5 after the Mac Brown punt, and he weaves his way past midfield. Breathing room and beyond from Smith.
Yeah, how about how it's blocked at the point of attack, too? You look at Ben Sims, number 86, an amazing job. Keith on the right side as well, and then the wide receivers out there getting involved as well. I mean, these guys doing an amazing job blocking in the secondary. That's how big plays happen in the run game. It's often because the block great up front, maybe you make a guy miss, but the wide receivers have to lead the way, and they did so there for the big run.
A 50-yard run from Abram Smith. And now they feed the beast. Flag is down. They may walk this back as Smith is finding his groove. But Baylor's been struggling in starting position. That was their second drive from inside their own 10.
Offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's on Khalil Keith, the right tackle.
You're going to see there's going to be presence, try to shoot the gap here by Lakia Henry. And Keith just grabs him with that left arm and rides him to the ground. Yeah, you see him just give him a big old bear hug. And the umpire is going to call that every single time. Good call by the official. An unfortunate off-schedule play there for the Baylor Bears.
So they hadn't crossed the 50-yard line. They cross it, and then the penalty, and they're right back to the other side. Here's Bohannon on first down and 20 after the penalty as he goes to Drew Estrada. Told you, Drew Estrada transferred from the Ivy League. He was up there in Hanover, New Hampshire at Dartmouth, where he had over 2,300 all-purpose yards. This is a live shot right now of Matt Corral. As Matt Corral is on crutches, that right leg is raised. An apparent lower leg injury as Corral is coming back out on crutches. Pads off. Second and 10, they go with the jet motion and a good play defensively. That was Otis Reese coming up, the transfer from Georgia back in 2020, who had 85 tackles this year. Real big physical DB, likes to play the run. And now the Ole Miss fans are recognizing that Corral has returned on crutches. Look at this reception here at the Sugar Bowl for their beloved star quarterback. And now the cascade of support for their defense on 3rd and 9 for Baylor. Pressure off the right edge. They pick it up. They run into it. with Ebner, who was met by Chance Campbell, who's been a tackling machine, who stepped in as the leader of the Ole Miss defense after coming over from Maryland.
There's a great job by Campbell. Engages, pushes off, and then slides inside to make the tackle. And you referenced earlier the transfer from Maryland. The middle linebacker spot at Ole Miss had been a problem for quite a while. Well, it's been solidified because of the presence of the senior. Makes another nice play there to force the Baylor punt.
Power and over end, going to try to see if they can come up with the pin here as it takes a bounce and is down at the 7-yard line. Matt Corral, who didn't even think about opting out, he said. Said, nobody in my family even brought it up. I'm here to lead. Talked about the relationships he's had with his teammates, that that's the great reward.
And it's amazing, too. He actually addressed the team this morning and said, hey, I want to leave this place knowing the type of impact that I had having played with Elijah Moore, who now is playing in the NFL. He said, I want you guys to feel impacted by my presence. And that's exactly what he's done, is every single one of these players is better because Matt Corral has been here. And just heartbreaking now to see his career potentially come to a close on crutches.
Altmaier, freshman quarterback, searching for anything and being taken down by Randolph. Katie?
Well, as he got into the box, guys, on those crutches, players, coaches started coming over to give him a hug, and he's visibly emotional right now, recognizing what's come to an end for him.
Katie, I remember the day before we broadcast the Thanksgiving primetime game against the rival Mississippi State, and you asked him, what's the best thing about your years at Ole Miss? As the flag comes down, he turned to you, Katie. Remember, he said,
relationships.
The relationships.
Yep.
That's right. He said the relationships that he never thought would so positively affect me. Now, I know there's been a lot of people railing on college football this year, the transfer portal, and the NILs, and the changing landscape, and are these postseason games really meaningful outside of the playoff? Matt Corral is all you need to know. He's doing it the right way. He cares about it the right way. Altmaier from his own end zone. And a great effort on the sideline, as that was Jonathan Mingo.
Sometimes when you have a guy that's not going to be quite as accurate or as consistent as Corral, you got to have the other pieces pick him up. What a play there by Mingo on the full extension.
So 18 yards there, Altmaier to Mingo. And Ely struggling to find anything as Ika makes the tackle. AP named Ika all Big 12 first-team defensive tackle.
And Ika has been a presence all night already. A couple tackles and making a huge difference. And Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, so far it's been a very conservative plan with Altmaier in the game. Got to think they got to unleash the young man here at some point to challenge his defense.
Pressure coming at him, and he just gets rid of it as Kalen Barnes was coming in on Altmaier. There, Jeff Lebby is leaving Ole Miss. He'll be the new offensive coordinator at Oklahoma for Coach Venables. He's an OU alumnus. There's a late flag. This could be intentional grounding, as I'm not sure that Altmaier was outside of the tackle box.
He wasn't. There was no one in the area either.
Offense number 7 was still in the pocket, threw to an area where there was no eligible receiver. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Third down.
Just a tough mistake there for the young gun. Brought pressure off the right-hand side, didn't know where his outlet was. He threw it over the head of the running back who was blocking and was still in the pocket in the process. So a good call by the official, and Ole Miss finds himself in a very difficult 3rd and long situation yet again.
3rd and 19. Ely. Tug of the jersey, a wrap of the ankle, and he's going nowhere. That was Bernard with the tackle. Another first-team all-conference player. He'll be headed to the Reese's Senior Bowl. Had 10 tackles in that Big 12 championship game.
And this defense is just terrific. I mean, just suffocating as Ika.
He's got a souvenir. He's going to be bringing a piece of jersey back.
Some guys trade jerseys, you know, after a game or whatnot. You trade jerseys. That's not usually the way you get it, by ripping it literally right off a guy. But Ika, he's a monster, man. And what I love about him, at 350, he could still move. I mean, the guy's a 3-down player. And at 350, you don't often see that. Has great athleticism coupled with elite size.
Mac Brown, who was selected to the All-State Good Works team this year, fitting to play in the All-State Sugar Bowl. Ebner on the return, does a little dance, and then decides to go to the right and makes the most of that return. They're looking for a flag, and it rains in from about 30 yards away. And that powder blue was mixed in with the green and gold a little too much.
Looks like it's going to be number 36. That's Sistrong.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Kicking team number 36. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Baylor only has 107 total yards. Defense got them on the board, but 2.5 minutes before halftime. Maybe they can find something here with good field position. To you, Bohannon with great field position, and it is denied at the 25. He was trying to connect with Estrada, but Dean Leonard defended that pass. Best starting field position for Baylor here. Ole Miss 39.
Really nice close there by Leonard. Felt like there was a moment in which you could squeeze it in, but Ole Miss defense, they are playing their tail off. Remember, the only points scored now for the Baylor Bears came by way of a pick six. The Rebels came to play on defense.
Smith, he is stacked up, wrapped up, and it's Lakia Henry with another tackle.
And DJ Durkin, the defensive coordinator for the Rebels, tasked with improving one of the worst defenses in America last year. Man, they have grown by leaps and bounds overnight, changed their structure, have been more physical, and the results have been excellent as they have another 3rd and long against Baylor.
They need that defense with Matt Corral out. 3rd down and 9. Bohannon, just a 3-man rush. They drop 8. Good coverage downfield as now they come in with Henry chasing. And Bohannon has to burn it. Boy, you mentioned DJ Durkin in this defensive improvement. 4th best improvement in the country, giving up over 13 fewer points per game this year compared to 2020.
And there was a guy open with the yardage needed for a conversion, but Bohannon just couldn't see him. As you can see right there, working to the sideline, it's Estrada. He has it. He's got separation. But for whatever reason, Bohannon just couldn't pull the trigger. And a missed opportunity there for the Baylor offense in plus territory.
2nd Baylor 3 and out. At great field position, and now Isaac Power is punting again. Drummond will set the heels on the 10-yard line. Nose down, back rotation, gives a knuckler that goes off to the left. Of course, the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T will be coming your way Monday, January 10th from Indy. Coverage starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Nick Saban, a record 7 national championships, 6 at Alabama. AT&T countdown to the CFP National Championship. How awesome was Brian Robinson yesterday against Cincy?
This is the team we thought we'd see from Alabama, an experienced defense and a young offense with a powerful running back. I thought they'd be that powered run game and defense, but they weren't. They were Bryce Young, and of course Georgia absolutely manhandling Michigan from start to finish. I mean, just clearly the superior team, superior athletically, and it sets up what should be an incredible rematch into Indianapolis for the national championship.
Stetson Bennett, the mailman, silencing the critics, huh, Greg?
I would say that was a silencing, even though I'm sure people still want to replace him. It's crazy.
Altmaier's going to swing it to Drummond, and Drummond will get out at the 22-yard line. Bama and Georgia coming off the Orange Bowl beat down of Michigan for the Dogs, the Cotton Bowl dismantling of Cincinnati for the Tide. Of course, Bama's had all the recent success against Georgia. the SEC championship games, the overtime thriller in the CFP title game in recent years. 2nd and 3. That was a dangerous pass to the outside of Casey Kelly. Casey Kelly, the only available tight end for Ole Miss tonight.
Yeah, they have 3 guys that are unavailable, either by way of transfer or injury. But Kelly in there, and fortunate thing for the Rebs is they are at full strength at wide receiver.
3rd down and 3. Altmaier's going to tuck and run and try to dive ahead, but he'll be a 1.5 yards short as TJ Franklin tripped him up. Baylor has all 3 timeouts remaining. They should use one here, and they will. Greg, we talked about it in the lead up to this game, the decision by Matt Corral to play. He said, I'm playing. He said, I couldn't do it to my teammates. Relationship's the most important thing. He leaves this game injured, and he's expected to be a first-round NFL draft pick.
Yeah, and Baylor fans are sick to their stomach.
Yeah.
College football fans are sick to their stomach. I mean, I've covered Matt Corral the last few years, called really his first big moment in the Egg Bowl a few years back, started a fight. I mean, the guy is just an absolute warrior. And I'm just sick. I don't really know how else to describe it. I'm just absolutely sick. And you understand why guys decide to opt out. You always get it to avoid that potential fate and the possibility of dropping in the draft as a result. Just pray that this injury doesn't last very long and he'll be able to go through a full process of being evaluated as he becomes a franchise quarterback somewhere great.
First 3 and out for Ole Miss tonight. Their 5th punt. Ebner driven back to the 16-yard line. Flag is down as Ebner takes it ahead and makes the most of this return all the way out to midfield. The Big 12 Special Teams Player of the Year. The flag is all the way back inside the 30-yard line. You see that block in the back.
I think every official on the crew saw that. So there's about 9 yellow flags on the field.
Back. Receiving team number 27. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That's Tevin Williams, corner who plays special teams. Well, the Manning brothers are back Monday night on ESPN2. Got Browns and Steelers, but listen to the guests. I mean, look at this guest list for Peyton and Eli Monday night on E2. They got Cower, they got Snoop Dogg, they got Aaron Rodgers, and the commish is coming on. Roger Goodell's going to come on with Peyton and Eli. That's 8 Eastern on ESPN2.
That is a drop the mic lineup right there. As you can see, Archie Manning in the background. Of course, the patriarch of what is an insanely special family. First family of football, Tess.
No doubt about it. We were texting with Archie earlier today, he was wishing everybody in our crew a happy new year. Loves his Rebs. And he's going to be that next generation coming down the road as young Arch, his grandson, is the biggest recruit in the country in the coming years. This is Abram Smith, and he is chopped down. You got to go back to 1970, the Sugar Bowl, when Archie had 2 touchdowns, the 18-yard run, the 30-yard touchdown pass later in that game against Arkansas.
You watch Archie, man. He was such a baller. I mean, the clips, it's like when you watch him, he's moving at a faster pace than just about everybody else on the field. I mean, it's borderline silly, some of the stuff he did in Oxford as a quarterback for the Rebels. And, of course, what Peyton went on to do at Tennessee. Is my favorite football player of all time. And then Eli, of course, amazing. And next in line, even though Cooper Manning's probably my favorite, if I'm going to be honest. I'm a big Cooper fan. But Arch will be the next in line of an amazing group of quarterbacks and players and people.
Now time I called here by Baylor. 7-zip. It was the interception return, 96-yard interception return by Al Walcott. Great play made by Matt Jones, the linebacker. But the big story is what's happening right there on the sideline. There in the red shirt is Matt Corral, one of the most dynamic players in college football. who committed to his teammates to play in this game. So this game meant the world to him and left this game earlier tonight with an apparent lower leg injury.
And I went through the draft process, obviously not a first-round pick. I went through the draft process with a broken hand, and it was a difficult circumstance, but I think for Matt Corral, assuming it won't be anything long-lasting, he'll have to go through the medicals and stuff, but he still will be drafted very, very high, and I don't think this will affect his draft status, hopefully.
Abram Smith, as Baylor looks to close out this first half.
But he is obviously now the draft taking place, his name going to be called on Thursday. I've already talked to people in the league that love him, and it's not necessarily always about when you're drafting a franchise quarterback. Yes, the skill set needs to be there, the ceiling needs to be there, but you have to be the bedrock of the foundation of what you're going to build, not just for the next 5, 6, 7 years, but in some cases the next 2 decades. And with the way Matt Corral competes and leaves it all on the field every single week, you know he's going to be a fantastic player at the next level.
Roger McShay's got him number 17 overall, as Smith actually breaks off a good run here to close out this first half and grab triple zeros on the scoreboard. Defensive first half with the unfortunate moment of the injury to Matt Corral. Al Walcott, the 96-yard pick six, our lone score here in the 88th edition of the All-State Sugar Bowl. Game first played back on New Year's Day, 1935, second oldest bowl game, tied with the Orange Bowl. The Granddaddy was something special. To see those highlights in a moment, but here's Katie with Lane.
Lane, you hold Matt in such a high regard. How do you handle a situation like that, seeing him go down?
Well, we just got to play better around Luke. Our defense is playing great. We haven't given a point on defense, and we've had the ball twice inside the 15. Not only did we not score, we gave them 7. So we're going to have to manufacture things in offense and keep playing great defense.
Thank you for the time.
Right.
Defense indeed is playing great. Baylor only has 138 total yards. Problem is Ole Miss doesn't have their star. It's 7-zip here in New Orleans. Let's get you back to the studio. Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Joe, Greg, and Katie with you as you're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl, and the Big 12 champs with a 7-zip lead at the half. Walcott had the 96-yard pick six as our only score of the first half, as Matt Corral's out. Luke Altmaier in at quarterback for Ole Miss. 7 points in a half of a game of a Sugar Bowl. You got to go back to 1984. Michigan led Auburn 7-zip. Pat Dye, Bo Schembechler back then, 1984, it was 7-zip. Auburn ended up winning that game 9-7. What are they going to do with Luke Altmaier here in this Ole Miss offense?
They got to find something. I mean, there's no denying that it's really going to be more about Ole Miss's defense. They're going to have to do a great job of controlling field position, maybe create a short field. That's obviously going to be paramount, but Lane Kiffin needed to have a good conversation with Luke Altmaier at halftime. Said, buddy, what are you most comfortable with? Let's get you into a rhythm. Young man's got some talent, now just has to get some confidence running the offense.
As Baylor will start this second half. Here's Katie moments ago with Dave Aranda.
Coach Aranda, what did you think of your defense's performance in that first half?
I thought they played hard. I thought they communicated. I thought they did their 111th. They trusted their teammates to do their job so they could fully control what they could control in their gap or their man or their zone. So I was impressed. We're going to have to do it again.
What does Gary and this offense need to do moving forward?
I think they're going to have to build a play complementary offense with the run and the pass. I think, you know, we're running the ball well until we get a penalty here or there, or we're running the ball well until we try to throw the ball and we go backwards. And so I think for us to balance those things out and for the run to help the pass and the pass to help the run, we've got to get to that point.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And another incompletion. He talks about having the balance, having some production in the passing game. Well, Gary Bohannon 3 of 6 for 15 yards in that first half.
And it's hard to balance if you're Baylor. I mean, you want to attack. Every offense wants to attack. But you have to balance the identity that you've had all year with knowing, man, a conservative plan might not be the worst thing. Any drive that ends in a kick is a positive drive for the Baylor Bears, including that of a punt. Now, you want to score points all the time as an offensive player, but with the Ole Miss uncertainty offensively, field position's paramount.
Here's Abram Smith with the carry. By the way, that was Saban 101 out of you there. That was 2009 vintage Nick. Any possession that ends in a kick is a good thing for us, says the former national championship winning quarterback of the Tide, who stands next to me.
We used to say it in high school too, but that was, you know, at South Lake Carroll, we wanted every drive to end in an extra point. Also a kick. Just a little different.
3rd down and 5 for the Bears. They're 1 of 6 on 3rd down. Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator, came here after 3 years at BYU. He's a finalist for the Broyles Award this year. 3rd and 5, Bohannon. Oh, that should have been picked off. That was right in the hands of Dean Leonard, and he was head the other way.
And they go with this bunch formation, try to create a little bit of a mesh, but Leonard drives on it, beats the receiver to the spot. What a great play by Leonard, but you have to finish. My goodness, you hit your head on the goalpost and do the Lambeau leap into the Baylor student section if you pick that one off.
And on a night where they're going to need something special, they're going to need possibly a pick 6 or something in special teams. So Power on with his 4th punt, 3rd Baylor, 3 and out. Drummond calls for the fair catch and then lets it bounce, and it takes a good Baylor bounce. And this Baylor defense tonight, Greg.
They have been the star. I mean, the second play from scrimmage, Siaki Ika forces the overthrow and JT Woods cleans it up, and then they just continued to be around the feet of Matt Corral. And then finally, Jones tips the pass that ends up in Walcott's hands. He takes it to the house. This Baylor defense has been so good throughout the course of the night. Now, most of the game, it's been going against the backup quarterbacks. They've been able to be aggressive, and they haven't really been threatened deep. But man, they've tackled in space, and they've been extremely sound. Every yard gained for Ole Miss has been earned throughout the course of the first half.
Neely can't find much there. Stopped at the line of scrimmage by Ika. Luke Altmaier in at quarterback. True freshman, early enrolled. He was a 4-star prospect. ESPN 300 had him ranked number 116 in the country. Here's Altmaier on 2nd and 9. Steps up, tucks, runs, and then gets something extra for a first down as he made that one little move at the end.
And that's a good play by Altmaier. He draws the defender, he jumps up, makes a miss. That's just a little quarterback counter. They don't block the unblocked guy, but he's able to create a positive play.
First down pass attempt, felt the pressure and went down. It was Bernard who affected him.
Oh my goodness, how about this physicality? Meet me at the point, big fella. Bernard just putting Jerrion Ealy on roller skates, pushing him right back into his quarterback as the 225-pound linebacker, his senior, makes the play.
That's 5 sacks now for Baylor's defense. Bernard's got Ealy by 40 pounds. Good luck in pass pro there. 2nd and 14. Altmaier has time, downfield, and it's incomplete. Was trying to connect with Braylon Sanders, who we told you is 3rd best nationally in yards per catch, and almost had a big one there.
Man, so close, but how about the breakup yet again there in the secondary as all the safeties for the Baylor Bears essentially collapse on one particular spot. Looked like it was McVay who initiated the first PBU. Number 42, who of course saved the day in the Big 12 championship game as well.
Had the game-winning tackle at the goal line there. 3rd and 14. Altmaier being chased again. And right on the sideline, nearly intercepted, but unable to come down with it Franklin got the pressure.
So far, Baylor's winning at the line of scrimmage. And it's really been Siaki Ika, number 62, who's been, for lack of a better word, unblockable throughout the course of the night. But now Matt Jones applying some pressure, Cole Maxwell applying some pressure. Every single Baylor defender has been able to pin their ears back along the front, and they are making Altmaier very uncomfortable.
Mac Brown's leg is going to get tired. This is his 5th punt already tonight, 4th straight. Ebner from the 32, and returns it to the 40-yard line. Will we find offense around the corner, Mr. McElroy, as we return to the All-State Sugar Bowl in a moment? Well, this season, along with their contributions to university's general scholarship funds, for every field goal and extra point made, All-State also donated to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts, and we thank All-State for that. Joe Greg and Katie here at the All-State Sugar Bowl. 7-0 Baylor. The pick 6 was the lone touchdown tonight. Big 12 champs trying to set a school record for wins. Looking for number 12 on the year. Abram Smith. Just a yard there. And thank goodness, if you're an Ole Miss fan, for what DJ Durkin and this defense has been able to do.
Now they're giving them a chance, and at some point, Jeff Grimes, while yes, they've been very conservative throughout the course of the first half of this football game, not trying to take any unnecessary risk, but at some point, they're going to take a shot. This is an offense that's predicated off running the football, but the heavy play action has been very effective.
Timeout.
And you know Gary Bohannon just licking his chops, waiting for that opportunity for that play to be called.
Starting safety Jake Springer is coming off the field. He missed 4 games this year with injury. You know, Kiffin mentioned this. He goes, when this kid is healthy at 100%, we are at our very best defensively. A reminder, College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Coming your way Monday, January 10th. Coverage will start at 8 Eastern. It is Georgia and Bama. It is the rematch. Remember, SEC Championship game, Georgia was up 10-zip, right? And then Bama roars back. Bryce Young was lighting it up. Over 500 yards, the 41 points on the board. They get the rematch for the title. Downfield, Bohannon. And the flag comes in as there was contact between Dean Leonard and Tyquan Thornton, the intended receiver.
Told you it was only a matter of time before they let one rip downfield.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
As you can see, Leonard just arrives a little too early, and an underthrown deep ball is so difficult on a defender because it's tough for the defender to track, but as soon as Thornton slows down, that invites Leonard to close, and that contact is initiated before the ball arrives. So just difficult play on the defender, but a very, very good positive play for the Baylor Bears offense.
And with that penalty, it's just the 4th first down for Baylor tonight. 4. Here's the reverse. That becomes a flea flicker. Back to Bohannon downfield. Well covered and denied by Leonard. And he was trying to get it to Big Ben Sims.
You hear the crowd roar, almost as if they thought it was an OPI situation, but I think it's a good no call. I mean, there's some contact. You're working against Big Ben Sims, like you alluded to, is 255 pounds. I have no problem with keeping the flag in your pocket there. There's going to be some contact, especially down the field.
Second and 10. Bohannon had to get rid of it. And there's pressure coming straight at him with Mark Robinson.
The pass went beyond the line of scrimmage. There is no foul for grounding.
Mark Robinson, who had to sit out the first half of this Sugar Bowl because of a targeting call in the Egg Bowl regular season finale. He's making his presence felt here.
Yeah, and sometimes incompletions, they're not all created equal. That was a great play by Gary Bohannon. Evade the would-be tackler, could have been very easily 3rd and 20 plus, maybe even a fumble. Instead, he makes a miss by just enough time to throw the incompletion.
3rd and 10, Bohannon trying to turn the corner. Instead, he's ripped down by Sam Williams, and a flag is down as well. Williams, who set the school record with 12.5 sacks this season.
And they're going to get a hold, I believe, by the right guard for the center, Jacob Gall.
Offense, number 66. The penalties decline, 4th down.
And Jacob Gall, the center, he's engaged with the defensive tackle, Katie Hill. As you can see, the pressure being applied by Sam Williams. I mean, just so very effective, relentless in his pursuit. It's a great motor. He drops the quarterback yet again. I'll tell you what, man, this defense for Ole Miss has really done a great job of keeping their team in the game in spite of very adverse circumstances.
Isaac Power, the Baylor punter, has 3 inside the 20. This came off the foot a little funny, reverse rotation, and it goes out of bounds. Well short of the mark he was looking to make. He was trying to pin it and get it inside the 20 to the right side. This game is just offensively challenged. Absolutely offensively challenged. But yet on the near sideline right now, the Ole Miss crowd is roaring. The Ole Miss players are pumping them up, saying, let's go. Let's get this thing done. We'll see if they can with the backup quarterback when we return.
The Allstate Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. And the proven formula of Gatorade. Greatness starts with G.
All the recent success with Baylor sports, with athletic director Matt Rhodes leading the way. Back on December 4th, of course, the Big 12 championship, that critical goal line stand. Jaron McVay, one of the plays of the year in college football, the game-winning tackle as he knocked out Desmond Jackson, the Oklahoma State running back, out of bounds before he reached the pylon. Just sensational play to win a conference championship.
And it's amazing. I mean, when I was growing up, Baylor was just such an afterthought in the Big 12, and to see what they've become in athletics is just amazing. As a kid in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's really special to see the growth and transformation of the football program and so many other programs as well.
Here's a cat blitz, corner coming in. They pick up enough of it. It goes striking downfield as it was intended for Sanders, and a flag comes in. So Altmaier leaked to the right, away from the pressure, and launched it downfield, and they're going to get the PI out of it against Barnes.
I'll tell you what, man, Altmaier throws a pretty good deep ball. If he could lead him just a little bit across the field, he's got a chance at it. Barnes arrives just a little bit too early, as you can see him draped. But if not for the contact, and the contact obviously slowed down the intended wide receiver, Sanders. If not for that, though, he might have had a real chance at that one.
Snoop Connor out to the 47-yard line. So Luke Altmaier, the true freshman from Starkville, Mississippi. Kids playing for Ole Miss. Grew up right there next to Mississippi State because his father has been Mississippi State's team orthopedic surgeon for 18 years. So dad works, big rival, and now you're playing quarterback in the Powder Blues for the Rebs in the Sugar Bowl. And carries it to the 48-yard line.
If you look at Luke Altmaier as someone's down on the field, it looks like
Officials timeout, injured defensive player.
I think it's number 91, Rob Solin, who hasn't gotten a chance to play a ton, but is in the rotation at defensive tackle tonight. And as he scraped over the top, looked like might have had a pretty decent collision.
Field, defensive lineman from Baylor, who's shaken up moments ago. 7-zip, the Big 12 champs over the 10-win Ole Miss Rebels, who are playing without Matt Corral, their star quarterback. Luke Altmaier has 6 completions for 32 yards. An interception was returned, 96 yards. That's the lone score we have tonight. Now the true freshman backup quarterback is facing a 3rd and 5. Gives to Connor. And Connor will have the first down, cross midfield for Ole Miss.
And a good hard run there from Connor. And a great job up front. Really one of the few times you've seen good push at the point of attack from Ole Miss's offensive line.
And now tempo right back up to the line and feed Snoop Connor. Had a couple of touchdowns in that regular season finale against Mississippi State. Now 26 in his career. Second and 4, going to stay with it. And he's going to be a yard short of that line to gain. It'll be 3rd and 4, tackled by Obanaya.
If you look at the defensive line of Baylor right now, the big guy missing is number 62. There is no Siaki Ika, so finally Ole Miss able to get a little bit of a push.
3rd down, he's going to go downfield, and he's going to get it! Altmaier to Sanders! Strike. The freshman gets it to Sanders. And now the walk-on kicker, who was pressed into duty a game ago, will tie it. Kale Nation with the extra point. Points are hard to come by. You value everyone you can get on a night like this, and Altmaier gets it.
And you look on the left side, I mean, Broker, the left tackle, just completely whiffs, which allows Franklin a free shot on the quarterback, completely unfazed as Altmaier. He recognizes the press coverage and throws an absolute dime down the field to Sanders, the deep threat over the top. Dropped it in the bucket, set it a second to go on the pass interference. Man, I haven't seen Luke Altmaier throw a lot of passes, not many, but it certainly appears like he can drop it in the bucket on the deep ball as Matt Corral looks on and is as fired up as anybody. Altmaier points to the sky on the logo. Great throw, young man.
And Katie, there's some energy down there on that Ole Miss sideline right now.
That's an understatement, Tess, and Matt Corral has been a part of every moment, raising the crutches in the air on good plays, throwing them down on the ground on bad plays, but when Altmaier threw that touchdown, he waited for him right in the quarterback's position on the sidelines to congratulate the backup quarterback. Great camaraderie in that QB room, guys.
First college football touchdown pass, and it comes in the All-State Sugar Bowl to tie the game in the second half. Takes a bounce inside the 5-yard line. Thornton on the return. And now you make a play like that offensively, you get a spark with special teams coverage, and all of a sudden, there's a little bit of a roar here at the Caesars Superdome.
This is a massive drive for Baylor's offense. As you can see Matt Corral looking on, grinning, loving what he's seeing and loving the energy that's been infused into the building. But now it's time for Baylor to get back to what they do best. You got to get a heavy dose of Abe Smith, the outstanding running back. Lean on this offensive line, see if they can get some movement in the run game.
He's got 112 yards tonight. They've got nothing in the passing game. And here is number 7. And there is DJ Durkin's defense fitting it up perfectly as Chance Campbell and the gang come up with another tackle.
And these safeties from Ole Miss, I mean, they are creeping close to the line of scrimmage. As you see DJ Durkin, they've changed their structure. They go with 3 safeties on the field. But with how they're right now, how they're triggering there in the back end, those safeties are in run support really, really quick to take away this run game.
2nd and 9. Keep it on the ground with Smith. Smith able to wiggle his way ahead. And the 3rd and about a long 3 from there.
Critical down here for Baylor's offense. I like going with a little naked bootleg. You have a mobile option at quarterback spot, Gary Bohannon. Ole Miss has been aggressively pursuing the run. Fake it to Abe Smith in one direction, and then boot your quarterback back the other way with a misdirection, allow him to keep it for the first down.
3rd and 2. They're 1 of 8 on 3rd down tonight. They're going to run Smith, and Smith is going to have it and more. Runs into his own man, but it's a first down. And that's just Baylor's 2nd 3rd down conversion tonight.
A really good job up front by the Baylor offensive line. Connor Galvin, the left tackle, Xavier Newman-Johnson, that whole left side doing a really good job establishing the point and allowing Smith to slip up inside for a big conversion.
Rest of the team 33. Abram Smith 129 yards. Ebner comes in to give him a break, and Chance Campbell wraps him up.
Play action is coming. I don't know when, but with how these safeties are currently playing the run, they're almost completely disregarding the pass. They're not concerned about it whatsoever. Why would you be?
What? I mean, three completions for 15 yards from Gary Bohannon, Baylor's starting quarterback.
I get it, but even a long foul ball will completely change the way they're playing defensively. You got to think at some point, this time they're a little bit further back, so this will be a look. If I'm Baylor and if I'm Jeff Grimes offensively, I would try to hand it off to the right side.
Miscommunication between Bohannon and Ebner, and yet he makes something of it as he's able to find Sneed, and Sneed works his way for nearly 10 yards.
This is an unbelievable play by the left tackle. 76, Connor Galvin, the left tackle, is downfield. And as soon as he realizes that the play is botched, he sprints back to the line of scrimmage, because had Bohannon thrown the ball where Galvin was at, it would have been a legal man downfield, but he would knowingly saw Bohannon in trouble, sprinted back to the line, and turned what was an awful play into a great one to make third more manageable.
He was named the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, voted by the coaches. 3rd and 1. Short pitch, Smith on 3rd and 1. He's met in the hole, but the extra effort with that lean forward over Miles Battle, the corner, is going to give them a first down.
Watch 76 here, all right? Watch him leak down the field a little bit as Bohannon tries to hand it off. Look, he's at 4 or 5 yards. If Bohannon throws it, but look at him knowingly run back. He sprints back to the line and sees if he can't get back behind the 3-yard window. That's a heads-up play by the offensive lineman.
Bohannon pressured and gets rid of it. That was Tysheen Johnson getting in on Bohannon. He's a freshman All-SEC choice.
Baylor so far has been, for the most part, decent on first down. And when they haven't been decent on first down, they've done a good job of, I think, in some cases, getting back to 3rd and manageable. Right here, you can run it or pass it, but the goal is to get to 3rd and 5 or less to make sure 3rd down's a gettable spot.
Second and 10, quick strike, just hooking it up over the middle for 9 yards as he goes to Dabney. Drake Dabney, freshman tight end. Mostly a blocking tight end, but the coach is really high on his potential with his size. 6'5", over 250 pounds.
Really nice there by Bohannon, getting the ball out of his hands really quickly, paints the tight end with the throw right on the shoulder, and sets up another 3rd and short. 2-down territory for Baylor.
Dylan Doyle, the linebacker slash fullback, comes in offensively as they go I formation here on 3rd and 2. Ebner, the tailback. They go straight up with Dylan Doyle, the linebacker, who also plays short yardage running back, and that is his 3rd carry of the year. Look how pumped up he is. That's a first down for Baylor.
And they'll feed the big fella. Every once in a while, his touches come in bunches, that's for sure. As you can see, he's had a couple touchdowns this year. And of course, has been a presence on defense throughout. But Grimes, Jeff Grimes, the OC, says, man, he's in there to block. I'm not going to hand it to him. Well, sure enough, breaks a tendency right there by giving it to him for the first down conversion.
10th play of this drive. Their previous long drive was 5 plays. That's how much it's been a stop and start offensive night for Baylor. But this guy can help. Abram Smith. And Smith gets it down to the 30-yard line.
How about this answer from Baylor? I mean, really, Ole Miss's offense shows life for the first time. They get on the board. Baylor has a pivotal drive to try to steal that momentum away. The Ole Miss crowd was rocking. And what does Baylor do? They've now gone right down the field and have 2nd and short, which is a green light go for me. If I'm the offensive coordinator, plus territory, you can run it, get it on 3rd down, throw a shot here, see if you can't steal one over the top.
Jeff Grimes is going to call the pass play, is going downfield, and it is intercepted right at the goal line by Miles Battle. Tyquan Thornton was the intended target, and Ole Miss denies it. Miles Battle with the pick. Flag is down at the 25.
Rolling on the field is an interception. First down, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has been charged with a sideline warning for interference. Timeout on the field.
What a sequence. Greg, you said Baylor needed the response drive. They had the down and distance to go for it. And then they do. And it's the first Baylor turnover of the night. Miles Battle comes up big.
Huge play by Miles Battle on the interception, but it was made possible because of really poor mechanics by Gary Bohannon. This is wide open. I mean, absolutely wide open. And it's so wide open that Bohannon gets a little casual with his feet. Look at this. Look at the bottom feet. Right there. Never pushes through. It's like trying to shoot a fadeaway jumper from 38 yards. He finishes on his back foot, and as a result, the ball dies, which allows Miles Battle to recover and intercept the pass. You have to be able to throw with your lower half. Bohannon didn't. As a result, not enough power on the ball, and a huge turning point in the game for the Rebels.
There's Drummond as he just runs down the line and was pursued there, down the line of scrimmage by Mark Milton. But I love how you make that so relatable with the basketball analogy. That lower body mechanics, it's really everything in so many sports.
Well, you could probably shoot a fadeaway jumper from 38 yards.
Yeah,
I don't have that shot. Steph Curry might be able to pull that off too, but gotta throw it with your lower half.
There's Connor as he goes ahead for 2 yards. 7-7 game here. We had the pick 6, and then Altmaier hit Sanders on the 38-yarder. I was saying to myself, what do we got for the Sugar Bowl record? What do we got for the lowest scoring? Back in 1942, Fordham-Mizzou. Fordham beat them 2-zip.
Wow.
1942.
Only Fordham. The Rams.
The Rams. 3rd and 7. Altmaier. Pressure off the edge. Escapes it for the moment. Reverses course, downfield, good arm, good strike, out to the 40-yard line to Dontario Drummond. Hey, Altmaier's got some arm talent downfield, doesn't he, Greg?
Yeah, he does. And Altmaier, how about him buying some time? Has some pressure off the left-hand side, evades the tackler. That was Bernard, missed him, but he finds Drummond retracing across the field on the scramble drill. Just a great job, too, by the receiver staying out in front and finding some green grass.
And confidence built as they go with the tap to Connor. You hit that big one to Braylon Sanders. All of a sudden you say to yourself, hey, I can do this. I can be out there on the big stage.
Yeah, the biggest thing with quarterbacks is confidence. I mean, you look at guys that have struggled at times in the NFL that never come back from it, it's because they lost their confidence. Altmaier right now, you have to get opportunities to gain that confidence, though. You can't create it in practice. It has to be with live bullets flying, and Altmaier's reacted now against a great defense.
2nd and 10. Altmaier again slings it and gets it to Mingo for a first down. His kid's growing up right in front of us here in the Sugar Bowl.
And this is a big opportunity for Altmaier, too, because Lane Kiffin's been outspoken about, hey, we're going to go to the portal. We want competition at the position. Altmaier now with an opportunity to make a legitimate statement that I'm going to be the Rebels quarterback in 2022. You don't need to go elsewhere and find anybody else.
Under further review for the receiver going out of bounds.
So the play's officially under review. The 15-yard reception by Jonathan Mingo. Let's see if he steps out here. Back heel. I don't know, that right leg. It's awful close. You got the white shoes against the white sideline.
Fortunately for Ole Miss, you got the white shoes going, so you can't really tell from that angle, but looks like that right foot is close. It's very difficult to tell, and of course, as every play is reviewed, has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn, and that indisputable video evidence has to be beyond all doubt. So based on that look, it's difficult for me to assume that this play is going to be overturned.
By the way, you mentioned the white shoes. How about these unis for Ole Miss tonight? Everybody loves the powder blue, but they've never worn this helmet before. They've never had the helmet with the 3 stripes. You got the powder blue stripe, you got the red, and the script Ole Miss with the blue edging is all new. And then, of course, a lot of hotty-toddy out there in powder blue as well. As you know, this fan base, they like to say, we've never lost a party. You bring them down here for New Year's Eve, and boy, do they know how to do that.
New Orleans will challenge you in that regard, but I still think that Ole Miss has won the fight in regards to the party scene. They have.
This is the best look that replay has here, Greg. Watch that back heel.
Yeah.
Is it up?
You can't draw assumptions. And based on, and another thing that you can kind of tell, look at the reaction on the Baylor sideline. Now, one guy points to it, but not that many do.
The field scans his call, completed catch.
And usually, if a guy's clearly out of bounds, you're going to have 15 Baylor guys losing their mind.
That's right.
The fact that there was only one guy going rogue and pointing to it makes me think that he was in bounds, but clearly just not enough evidence to overturn. And a good play again by Luke Altmaier.
Yeah, hey, listen, just moments ago, we're sitting here, there's another punt. I'm describing this game as offensively challenged. Now you look up and Altmaier, he's got 115 yards, he's got the passing touchdown, he's gaining confidence, and here he is downfield, 4 of 5, 99 yards to touchdown. You mentioned it very early. You get a look at his arm strength, he can throw it down. First down pass attempt again. And this time, a little too much traffic as he held on to it a bit. And he's taken down by Walcott. Walcott, who had the 96-yard pick six earlier tonight.
That was a good play by Altmaier because there was a Baylor defender that was dropping out underneath where he was about to go, and it would not have ended well for Luke Altmaier. So a good job pulling that ball back in and not pulling the trigger.
Ely can't get past Walcott that time.
What Walcott's having a night,
isn't he?
I mean, he is all over the place. I mean, between him, Siaki Ika, and Terrell Bernard, and this Baylor defense, with the exception of one long throw down the right sideline, they have been outstanding.
Listen, we're half a minute away from closing out this third quarter, and the total yards are really minimal until this recent surge from Altmaier. 3rd down and 11. I'm going to hand off here. Remember, they love to go for it on 4th down, so don't worry about the play call as a flag is down, but Ole Miss fans are conditioned to this. As Ely takes it ahead. And then a holding call, they'll push him way back. Baylor with only 194 total yards. Ole Miss with 232.
Offense number 73. The penalties decline. 4th down.
Eli Ackers, that left guard, he's making just his 4th career start.
Relentless pursuit from Baylor all night. And how about it? Lane Kiffin saying, I know it's a backup quarterback, but this young man's balling. We'll leave the offense on the field. Let's see what they go with here. They try to draw Baylor off sides, perhaps?
4th and 7. They're 3 for 3 on 4th down. Altmaier, what does he come up with? That right there to Dontario Drummond to close out this 3rd quarter. And you can sense something bubbling up here in the All-State Sugar Bowl. It's momentum. And it's got a tinge of powder blue. from the young true freshman Luke Altmaier, who found himself here all of a sudden. We're tied up, but the Rebs are marching as you're watching the All-State Sugar Bowl. Fourth quarter here in the All-State Sugar Bowl, a Capital One rewarding performance. Luke Altmaier, who got a nice chat from the superstar quarterback Matt Corral. He said, "You can do this, young man, you can do this," and he did. Hit Braylon Sanders for a 38-yard touchdown, and all of a sudden he's found a rhythm.
Yeah, he has, and it's been on the move, too. I mean, you could see him really been deadly as he's moved in the pocket to extend plays, and you got to give credit, too, to these Ole Miss wide receivers who are doing an excellent job creating separation when he gets on the move.
Snoop Connor can't find anything. So Altmaier in the first half, when he came in for Matt Corral, was 6 of 11 for only 32 yards. And through the interception, ball was deflected, was returned 96 yards for a pick 6. In the second half, all of a sudden the true freshman is 6 of 8, 101 yards, and a touchdown pass.
Yeah, he's definitely settled in, and the guys around him are playing better as well.
Connor is met after just a yard.
They're going to have to find an answer, though, because right now Baylor, they continue to bring edge pressure. They're bringing corners, they're bringing safeties, they're bringing linebackers off the edge. And they have made several plays at or behind the line of scrimmage as a result. So they have to do something to take advantage and to talk Baylor out of bringing those quick pressures and those quick hitters off the edges.
12th play of the drive, guided by the true freshman backup quarterback Luke Altmaier. Can he be the unexpected hero for Ole Miss? 3rd down and 9, he's going to run it himself. Kept his balance for a moment and then dives ahead to the 17-yard line. It'll be 4th down. And remember the situation with the kicking game for Ole Miss. Kale Nation is now their kicker. He's a walk-on, his 3rd year in the program. And he was thrown into the fire on short notice in the Egg Bowl rivalry game because the starting kicker, Caden Costa, was suspended by NCAA rule. He missed from 49 earlier tonight. This from 35 to take the lead in the 4th quarter. And it's no good, wide right. We remain tied in New Orleans.
We're back in New Orleans, tied at 7 here in the 4th, and Baylor running back Abe Smith is doing everything in his power to get this offense going both on the field and off it. OC Jeff Grimes called the entire offense together on the sidelines to regroup after the interception. Abe Smith took control of it, said it's not the time to play scared. If we play Baylor ball, we will get physical. Let's retake control of this game. So you can feel the urgency, guys, over here on this Baylor sidelines.
And here he goes doing just that. You want to talk about physical, Katie. Look at that run as he spins, leg drives, and earns a 1st down.
And they did a great job on the last drive, too. I mean, they just, unfortunately, their quarterback, just poor fundamentals on a guy that was wide open. It happens. But they've done a really good job. As you see, Abe Smith goes off with only one shoe. Done a really good job the last 2 drives now of being physical at the point of attack. This Ole Miss defense starting to wear down just a little bit, and Baylor needs to make them feel it.
So Ebner comes in for Smith, who has 152 yards. He's averaging 8.0. They run speed option, and Bohannon keeps it and dives ahead to the 35-yard line. Robinson with the tackle. Bohannon only has 5 completed passes on the night for 32 yards.
And it's hard to be accurate when you haven't had that many opportunities to throw. When there's long time between one attempt to the other, it's hard to stay in a rhythm. So I think from this point forward, you would expect Grimes and Bohannon to use mostly their legs.
You know, last night you said that. We were watching the Alabama game. I thought early on that was the case with Bryce Young as well. Then all of a sudden he got his rhythm on that drive where he made the little flip to B-Rob. And he never stopped. 2nd and 6. Deep ball. Does he have it? Beyond the outstretched arms of Tyquan Thornton. Put something underneath, but a little too much.
And it was close. It would have been an unbelievable catch by Thornton. He got both hands on it, but just a little bit too far, and a good close, too, by the Ole Miss defense as 2 defenders are right there on the deep threat for Baylor.
So now it's a 3rd and 6. Can Bohannon convert here? You keep it on the ground with Ebner. He has to bounce it beyond Williams, and he does so. And that's a 1st down for Baylor.
And this was a poor job of leveraging the football by Ole Miss's defense. You see Jake Springer there on the right side. He gets too far inside and loses contain. You're not dealing with Abe Smith. You're not dealing with the bruiser. You're dealing with the speed. And Ebner, he catches the edge and turns it into a big play for the Bears.
Ebner, a guy who's 2nd in program history in all-purpose yards. Great special team return guy as well. He's got that edge speed. Smith comes back in. Jet motion they go with here with Baldwin. And Baldwin breaks free! And the Bears sick him! Monaray Baldwin! Pure speed, and he shows it. Wow! Yard touchdown by Baldwin.
What a great drive by the Baylor Bears. Unbelievable. 80 yards in just 2 minutes and 5 plays.
How about that? The little guy from Killeen, Texas, played his ball at Shoemaker High. Only weighs 165 pounds, but he's fast as lightning. And he just struck in the night in New Orleans. That was big time. Longest play from scrimmage tonight. Baylor comes up with it.
The All-State Sugar Bowl is brought to you by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, and secure. And Taco Bell.
Coach Dave Aranda just lit the fuse on Monaray Baldwin. And that rocket took off for 48 yards on the touchdown run. Young man who runs a 10.6 PR in the 100-meter. He's got track speed. Hey, a reminder, the Manning brothers are back Monday night on E2. Browns Steelers. But Greg, everybody's excited because look at the guest list for Peyton and Eli. We're down here in their hometown. Eli's Ole Miss team on the field. And then come Monday night, they got Snoop Dogg, they got Aaron Rodgers, they got Coach Cowher, and the commish. Roger Goodell is going to be on with Peyton and Eli.
I love that lineup. I cannot wait to see Snoop Dogg. I love Snoop Dogg. Seeing him with the Mannings would be amazing.
(14-7). Well, Tuesday night at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, the Texas Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. LSU and K-State will be beaten up.
Yeah, and I love that matchup because you have LSU. You think that, Dan, they're not going to play hard. What they have left, new coach coming in. Well, I know this. I know that the guys that are still down there on the staff are so close with that team, that roster. So you can imagine all those young guys are going to get chances. They're going to go out and play their hearts out. And then K-State, a lot of seniors on that roster, an opportunity to finish on a high note with a win against an SEC team. That's big time. And you know you're going to get K-State's best effort. Chris Klieman would expect nothing less.
Speaking of young men getting their opportunity, here's Luke Altmaier. First down. And he's taken down. And it's Terrell Bernard. And he has 15 and a half career sacks now.
And it's just a great job by Bernard. You're going to see him trigger late. He kind of is watching. He's got QB spy. Then he goes. And there's no one really there for Ole Miss to account for him. He finds that open space right around the right-hand side and drops the quarterback. Great job on the green dog by Terrell Bernard.
14 tackles tonight for Bernard. 2nd and 20. He missed that tackle, but not much there with Big Ika standing his ground for Luke Altmaier. It'll be 3rd and long for the true freshman quarterback.
the middle of the field. With right now how Baylor is playing defensively, I mean, if they continue with these really wide safeties, you might be able to hit it right in the middle of the field.
3rd and 17. Altmaier steps up, drives the ball, and it is intercepted. J.T. Woods again. That is his 2nd of the night. He attacked the ball and snatched it.
And what a job here. Reading the quarterback's eyes, jumping in front of the intended wide receiver as Woods continues to make a massive impact in this game. They had gone with 2 high safeties the last couple plays. Well, that time they roll into 3 safeties, and that frees up J.T. Woods in the middle of the field to read and react to where the quarterback distributes the football. He broke on it perfectly and made an amazing play that now gives Baylor the ball inside the 15-yard line.
From the 15, they run Bohannon. And Bohannon gains a little as he gets past Chance Campbell, but J.T. Woods, Greg. I mean, this guy came up big in the Big 12 title game, had an interception, returned to the 5. Came up big in the win over then number 15, Iowa State. Picked off a 2-point conversion. And now tonight in the All-State Sugar Bowl, 2 interceptions, including that one that puts it on a silver platter at the 15-yard line. Abram Smith can't find much. Taken down at the 11-yard line. It's Jake Springer with the tackle.
You just can't imagine right now with how Baylor's defense is playing, you take any unnecessary risks. At this point, this part of the field, just run it. I mean, that's your bread and butter anyways. Run it to the left-hand side, center up what could become the game-winning field goal, because right now, a 2-score game, with how they're defending, feels like a pretty insurmountable deficit to overcome.
3rd and 5. Smith flanking Bohannon. Bohannon will get it to Smith. Smith lowers the shoulders and fights for more, and in doing so will have 1st and goal Bears.
And that's a really conservative play there. I mean, it's essentially no different for the most part than just pitching it out to your wide receiver or to your running back on a toss sweep. Easy completion behind the line of scrimmage. Not a lot bad that can happen. And how about the finish from Abe Smith? I mean, this young man trucking Otis Reese for the line to gain and almost finding pay dirt.
Smith trying to fight to get close to that goal line. And as Campbell met him, his 2nd and goal after the gain of 2 from Abram Smith, who has 156 yards on the night. That is the only way they have found offense. So the workhorse of Smith, and then the big explosive play from Baldwin, the 48-yard run from the speedy wide receiver.
Obviously, I don't think I need to tell anybody this. Absolutely critical that Ole Miss tries to rip the ball free here. Try to force the fumble if you can.
They're going to throw, and they're going to score. It is Thornton celebrating with his teammates. Tyquan Thornton with the touchdown. And the interception by J.T. Woods is cashed in for 7.
What a job there by Baylor's defense. Just clamping down an offense, turning the sudden change into 7. Thing of beauty.
JT Woods has had himself a night, and he just sparked things moments ago with that interception. Returns to the 15, and then Bohannon to Thornton, and all of a sudden it's 21-7. 2021 All-State AFCA Good Works team recognized the college football players whose good works extend beyond the field, including this year's captain, Nakobe Dean of Georgia. That's smothering Georgia defense, and Dean, the great work that he does. 21-7. Baylor on top of Ole Miss. 14 of their points off of turnovers. Ole Miss with 3 tonight, all interceptions. Baylor offense didn't have any points for the first 3 quarters. Remember, it was a pick 6 that got them on the board. And now 14 points in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Let's go back to the touchdown and give a little love, because there's the wide receiver running straight down the line of scrimmage to score this touchdown. Let's give a little love to the left tackle. My man, Connor Galvin, the senior. When you have a guy coming flat down, you have to make sure that the defensive end's hands don't get in the way, because that's when you can have deflections, which lead to real big problems. So what do? You attack to the ankles, you cut the best pass rusher that Ole Miss has in Sam Williams, and it leads to a walk-in score for Thornton. So you got to give some love, even in a pass play, the left side of that offensive line who executed that beautifully.
Luke Altmaier back out there after throwing his second interception. Jarian Ely straight ahead as he goes for 8 yards, tackled by Dylan Doyle. Dylan Doyle, who played offense earlier tonight, had a carry for 3 yards on first down.
Injured defensive player.
It's TJ Franklin, steady performer on the defensive line, who is slow to get up.
Yeah, he's had a good night as well. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, if you're going to give a game ball, I don't know how you don't give a game ball to every single Baylor defender along that defensive line. I mean, so far, to hold this offense in check in the run game. I mean, it's not a single ball carrier for Ole Miss that has over 4 yards per carry.
Altmaier being chased again and has to throw it away. Ashton Logan was coming after him. The flag is down. You see Abram Smith talking to his offensive line.
Ineligible receiver downfield as the quarterback legally threw the ball away.
You know, it's interesting you mention all these defensive players for Baylor, and yet we haven't said the name Jalen Petrie much tonight. He's a first-team All-America. I mean, Lane Kiffin, you talked to Lane Kiffin the other day. He says, I think Petrie's generational, especially. He says, I think he's like the honey badger.
He's awesome. I mean, he is a heat-seeking missile. And I think he'll be a great pro. I mean, he's just so athletic, so fast, will be great on special teams, and is extremely instinctive. Does a great job of reading quarterbacks' eyes in the secondary and at the second level.
3rd and 2. Ely's going to have the first down, and Moore stiff arms his way, kept his balance all the way inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. Finally run down by Barnes.
Yeah, a lot going on there for Ole Miss offensively. You have Drummond working from right to left, and you can potentially pull that if you like it and throw it to Drummond in the flats. Kind of like a triple option, frankly. Your hand to the fullback, and Ely does a great job with it.
Play action now on first down. Altmaier downfield, wants all of it. It's denied at the last second by Barnes. Barnes went up against Braylon Sanders and swatted it away.
I love this play by Barnes. My goodness. At 6 foot, got great length, times it perfectly, and denies the pass. Just slightly underthrown, but how about the play by the senior corner? Just awesome there on the perimeter.
Guy who set the Texas high school track record back in 2017. Ran a 10.2 200 meter. Kalen Barnes. Snoop Connor off left tackle on second down. Gets it to the 32-yard line. Cut down by Bernard. Bernard's been all over the place defensively as well.
Yeah, he has. I mean, this Baylor defense has really flown around, and outside of a play or two here or there, they really have kept this offense for the most part in check.
Clock counting down towards 6 minutes. Altmaier, RPO, and he's going to keep it himself near the 30-yard line as Utley stayed with him.
Same play as they ran just a second ago that Ely took out the gate. And here you got 4th down and 4. Altmaier's been good when using his legs today. Let's see if with them on the left hash, do they move the quarterback, sprint the quarterback out to the right, maybe give him an easy completion out in the flat.
They're 4 for 4 on 4th down tonight.
Sprint that quarterback out to the right. You could secure the edge. Then you give him the option to potentially run if nothing's there in the throw game.
Keep it on the ground with Ely. And Ely's diving for it. It'll depend on the spot.
Very close. Of course, the line to gain is the 26-yard line, and they will signal 1st down. How about the effort from Ely? I mean, just enough to be able to get just a piece of the ball beyond the 26-yard line. How about handing it off? 4th and 5 conversion. That was a great individual effort by Ely.
They've converted all 5 4th downs they've attempted tonight. Altmaier with a man in his face launches it to the end zone and well beyond Jonathan Mingo. That was Jalen Petrie coming in on Altmaier.
Man, does Petrie close quick. I mean, look at him hit this right on time. Gives a brief look to the flat, has to hesitate. If he could have hit it at full speed, he would have had the sack and likely a fumble. But he forces the incompletion just a little bit deep as he was breathing fire into the young quarterback's backside.
Look Pearson's way for a moment. Now goes to the end zone, well beyond the intended target. And that was John Rice Plumlee, the former quarterback. Back in 2019, he was the starting quarterback. Rushed for 1,000 yards.
Man, just a little greedy here. Altmaier, they try to go with a little fake to the flat, but look at how much green grass. I mean, you're right here. You can go run and pick up, 8 or 9 yards right there. Instead, you force it when a guy's not even open. That's just a poor decision from Altmaier. If nothing's there, take off. You've made some plays with your legs already tonight, and there was a play right there to be made that he left on the field.
Third down and 10. Trying to catch the seam, but instead Bernard denied it. Batted it away. Terrell Bernard, all Big 12 selection. Leader of this defense in many ways.
This, of course, this next play, great job there by Bernard. This next play is the game for the Ole Miss Rebels. What does Jeff Lebby have in his bag of tricks for the young quarterback?
4th and 10. 19-year-old true freshman quarterback stepping in for the injured Matt Corral, and then being brought down. Bryson Jackson with the sack and the turnover on downs.
Timeout on the field.
And right there, just a great design on the game. They head up the center, and the two guys on the right-hand side twist, and it results in a game-ending sack for the most part, as the Bears might have put this one on ice.
Hey, we invite you to join us for the Ram Trucks postgame right here on ESPN. And what a day New Year's Day has been. After the All-State Sugar Bowl, Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt, all the reaction, the top moments from the New Year's Bowls, and what to expect from Bama, Georgia's the one big thing. After the turnover on downs, you know you're going to get a big dose of Abram Smith. Smith has been the workhorse tonight. He has 157 yards for the Bears.
they've done a great job, too, of incorporating him in a lot of different ways. I mean, they've run him on the perimeter. They've run him vertically, north and south. They've gone with their patented stretch zone. I mean, they've done it all for Abram Smith tonight, and he's been up to the challenge. Going against a solid defense, I was actually surprised looking at the graphic there that he's averaging over 7 yards per carry. So I feel like Ole Miss has done a decent job of containing this offense for the most part, but the one thing that has been working on a very consistent basis for the Bears on offense has been number 7, Abram Smith.
What a story he's been this year as he continues to get the workload, trying to lead them to a history-making win for this program. Remember, played defense last year, played 8 games at linebacker, moved back to running back in the spring. Coach Aranda pulled him aside.
Charge time
so
now.
they're going to need you at running back.
They're first. It's a 30-second time.
Remember we were visiting with him a couple months ago. We said, well, what was that like? You got to go back to play. He said, as soon as I touched the ball, it all came back to me.
Like riding a bike.
So, yeah, I said, I know what I'm doing here.
Like riding a bike, except everybody's trying to tackle you really hard.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
Make you feel pain. I mean, that's basically what it is. But he's been awesome to watch, man. So decisive as a runner, and I think he's got a very bright future.
Let's take a quick look at the All-State fan cam. Going to be a lot to celebrate if they can hold on to these last 4 minutes. You know, you consider a team that last year was 2-7. You know, you get a new coaching staff in, and there were some tough decisions that had to be made as well. Change your offensive coordinator. 2-7 team. And you come out, and you get double-digit wins and a conference championship and a New Year's 6, and you're sitting here with a 14-point lead, looking to bring it in for a nice, easy landing. And Ebner on 3rd and 4, just pulling A.J. Finley for extra yardage past midfield. So now with a win, Baylor makes history. For Baylor, it'll be their first Sugar Bowl since 1957. Beat Tennessee 65 years ago. Very significant here because they lost their previous 3 appearances in the big ones, the New Year's 6, the BCS era Bulls. But this, the school record, Greg, a 12-win season. A 12-win season for Dave Aranda in year 2 when you had 2 wins a year ago.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, I remember growing up, I'm from Dallas-Fort Worth, and Baylor, they might not have had 12 wins over the course of my entire high school life.
Yeah.
I mean, they were one of the worst programs in America, and I just cannot tell you the commitment that's been made by the administration to make football relevant. They've invested in the facilities, they've invested in the infrastructure, the fans have supported them amazingly well, and they've hired an amazing coach in Dave Aranda who fits the culture so perfectly with his thoughtfulness and his creativity on the defensive side of the football.
Smith's going to add to his total. Flag is down. You know, to that point, I was having a visit with David Kay, their sports information director, and he said, boy, I can remember back in 2002.
Holding, offense, number 66, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Kay says, I remember back in 2002, the fans rushed the field when they beat Kansas to end a Big 12 losing streak.
Oh, yeah.
And then you think about all the success under Art Briles. You think about a couple years ago, Matt Rule getting it to this point, and then the coaching transition. You're not expecting this just 2 years later.
I think what's crazy is they've had success now with several different coaches.
Yes.
A lot of places, they identify the success with one coach, at least in the modern era. I mean, if you have a great coach, you hang on to him. Well, that hasn't necessarily been the case with Baylor. They've had really high highs and really low lows with many different guys, including that of Aranda, who had a horrendous first season, made adjustments, and now is knocking on the door of a 12-win season and maybe the best in the history of Baylor football.
You know, the other day you had a great conversation we were listening into with Coach Aranda, and you said, hey, what are we going to celebrate here with your team? And he said, last year we went from talking about it to now doing it. And it was doing it with character and integrity. And the kids now seeing the connection of how you win if you put forth character and integrity, if you go about doing things the right way or putting the bricks in the foundation and you get everything connecting. That's what happened this year.
100%. And it's the fruits of your labor when you go to class, when you do the right thing at the facility, when you're putting in extra time in the film room and the weight room, the development will accelerate. and the foundation got laid last year, and the guys didn't quite understand. They said, man, well, why are we doing all this extra stuff? Why is it like this? Well, it's to pay off moments like this. And now, you no longer have to sell the vision if you're Dave Aranda. You no longer have to sell the hope and tell guys, hey, man, you come here, we can do it as long as you get here. No, you can sell the result. And the buy-in now from this point forward for everyone they bring to that program, it will be very easy for them to get on board with what they've already built.
Well, Abram Smith is over 170 yards with that carry. You know, something else that Aranda said, and listen, we got two great coaches here tonight, but they're vastly different when it comes to their personalities and their approaches. They both win. They're both beloved by their players, but Aranda is a real cerebral guy, and he said the other day to see Lane Kiffin, obviously you can imagine the disappointment with Kiffin not having his quarterback out there tonight. He said, the thing we talk about is being most prepared, but least distracted.
That's what they are. And honestly, when you talk to Dave Aranda, he's so smart, like you said, so cerebral. He's a silent killer, though. Soft-spoken, but he wants to absolutely tear you to shreds on the field. And that is evident with how his team plays.
And this defense has been incredible. And, you know, he's a defensive guy.
Yeah, they have done so many things. They made Matt Corral very uncomfortable throughout. They were making big hits early, getting tip passes, forcing interceptions. That led to, obviously, 7 points early for the Walcott touchdown. And they constantly, when Luke Altmaier was in the game, they mixed their looks. They made the quarterback question what he was looking at. And he was under constant duress throughout the course of the game. Just can't say enough about what I just witnessed from this Baylor front seven. The beauty is it was on several different guys. It started the first quarter, it was Siaki Ika. Second quarter, it was probably Cole Maxwell and Matt Jones. Well, now the third quarter and fourth quarter, it's been Bernard. It's just a cast of hundreds, it feels like, for the Baylor defense. JT Woods as well.
Hey, two great NHL games are coming your way Thursday night. Wild and Bruins on ESPN. Pittsburgh and Philly on ESPN+, and coverage for both games start at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Our group that does the NHL has been off to a superb start. Great coverage of the NHL on ESPN and ESPN+, where you can see so many games. Now, you mentioned Matt Corral, the disappointment being injured tonight and leaving the game, but you know, Corral was off to a challenging start against this defense as well. He's just 2 of 6 for 10 yards passing and the 1 interception. What a career he had. What a season Matt Corral had.
His career is just getting started. Obviously, college career coming to a close in devastating fashion. We're all just sick to our stomach about it, and we'll be praying for Matt for his speedy recovery. But he'll find a destination in the league and hopefully have a tremendous career.
From his own end zone is Altmaier. Thought about winding it up and then goes to check down, and he does so successfully as he connects with Drummond. Listen, this is going to be an extra loud cheer when Corral gets drafted in April out there in Vegas.
All right. And I wonder, too, I mean, you look at the career numbers, of course, top 3, an all-time great. And I wonder, too, I mean, what will the interviews be like? And I think anyone that talks with him will be able to gravitate towards his intensity, gravitate towards his competitiveness. And that was on display tonight. It was heartbreaking the way it came to a close. It really was. But there's no denying his heart and his willingness to lay it on the line for his teammates. And that's something that every one of these guys wearing powder blue and every one of these fans that watched tonight and every one of the millions of people that watched tonight, they're going to remember Matt Corral's heart and effort for sure.
Altmaier with under 2 minutes to play. He's gaining such valuable experience thrown into the fire in the All-State Sugar Bowl against the Big 12 champs with this loaded defense. And you could see that experience start to pay off a bit in the third quarter, where he gained some confidence, got a momentum drive going, hit Sanders for the 37-yarder, had another drive, but they weren't able to get points on the board. And then all of a sudden, there was Baylor in a span of 4 minutes, a couple touchdowns, as Drummond gets it again, and Drummond's out to the 47-yard line. But we talk about year 2 for Dave Aranda. I mean, this is still year 2 for Lane Kiffin.
Right.
So these are 2 programs that aren't going away. Trajectory is up, on the ascent. And already double-digit wins, and for Baylor, a conference championship, and now here a Sugar Bowl.
It'll be interesting now with the ever-changing landscape, too. We all know, and everyone's already heard, just how attractive the destination has now become because of Lane Kiffin's presence for grad transfers. A lot of guys wanting to go play for Lane Kiffin, develop under Lane Kiffin. They like the style of offense that he runs, and they like that he puts guys in position to be successful and transition to the next level. So it's going to be an attractive destination for a lot of grad transfers. I think the same for Baylor with what Dave Aranda's created in a very short period of time on the defensive side.
2nd and 5. Downfield and incomplete. You know, of course, there's going to be a change on the coaching staff with Ole Miss, as Jeff Levy's going to go home to his alma mater at Oklahoma to call the plays, and the reports of Charlie Weiss Jr. being the new OC for the Rebels. He was with Lane down at Florida Atlantic.
And Charlie Weiss Jr. joked with Lane and said, hey, you know, you didn't really let Charlie call the plays when you guys were together at FAU. What's the case going to be this year? He goes, no, he's going to call the plays. So I guess I'm sure he will learn and will adapt to how Lane wants it called. It'll just be interesting to see. As you can see, Charlie Weiss Jr., very, very young, but obviously grew up in the coaching family. And I think there's a couple good names that he's worked under. He's obviously the youngest coordinator in the SEC. So very bright future for that young man. But it'll be really interesting, I think, as they make this transition. Lane Kiffin did not operate with the same level of intense tempo prior to Jeff Levy's arrival here in Oxford. Does he keep that style of attack, the UCF, traditional UCF tempo, push the ball down the field, run the ball? Does he keep that style of attack, or does he morph back in the style of attack he used at both FAU and at Alabama previously?
Orlando Johnson was taken off the field there, walking off. He was dealing with a fractured foot earlier this year. As we wind down towards this final minute and what's going to be a heck of a celebration here in New Orleans for the Baylor Bears. And then, Greg, you and I will be off to Indianapolis to be part of the coverage of the national championship game, Georgia and Alabama, as Coach Saban looks to continue the dynasty, and the Bears do it again. Yet another sack. That is their 9th of the night. Bryson Jackson with his 2nd. Of course, you were there for the beginning of the run, winning a national championship as Coach Saban's quarterback, and now he's got the Heisman winner at quarterback. He's got Brian Robinson running the ball well, but up against that Georgia defense that looked very, very different yesterday.
Right.
When they were playing with a little urgency and fire and something on the line compared to that SEC championship game, the way we saw them, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there you go, double-digit sacks.
How about it? And that time, everyone's getting on the party. That time, Braden Utley slides in there and drops the quarterback. It's a sack party.
Give me your first blink on Bama, Georgia.
Oh, my goodness, man. I'm so excited for it. I think Georgia's played really poorly in the SEC championship game. Obviously, Bama was the much better team that night. Much, much better team that night. They created explosive plays. They were able to keep Bryce Young upright, did a great job of protecting him, didn't allow that Georgia defensive front to get home. But I think Georgia is going to go into this next opportunity with a little bit more intensity. They did not play hard enough in that first matchup. And Bama deserves a ton of credit. I think they're going to have to play even better to get the win again in Indianapolis for another national championship.
This is something special here for the Baylor Bears. A school record 12-win season. 2 a year ago. Dave Aranda rarely shows emotion, as if he knew, as if he expected. The highs are never too high. The lows, like a year ago, were never too low. Steady, controlled, reliable, disciplined, determined. That's what this version of Baylor is all about behind that leader, Dave Aranda. They are the All-State Sugar Bowl champs. Let's go to Katie with Coach.
Coach Aranda, congratulations. 12 wins. It's never been done in Baylor program history. Why was this group able to do it?
Well, you look at this group, and the senior group in particular, and all the coaches they've been through, all the philosophies and the beliefs that they had to have, all the trust that they had to give. And, I look at all the position coaches that have come and gone. And to get a group as special as this to trust again and to believe again and to be selfless. I think a lot of times when there's that much change and it's easy to just trust yourself and not think of others. This group is a selfless group and plays for each other.
That was an incredible defensive performance from start to finish. What impressed you most?
I thought that they continued to battle. We were put in some tough spots. I think there were some fourth downs that we did not convert on, and I thought the momentum could have easily changed there. And so the ability to continue to fight and get out of tough spots, and then when the momentum was on our side, to capitalize made all the difference.
Congratulations. I'll see you on the stage.
Hey, thank you.
Tess.
You get a real sense of what Dave Aranda is all about, don't you? Talking about a group that trusts, a group that's selfless, a group that's now school record holders with 12 wins. We'll be back with the trophy presentation, Ram Trucks postgame. Right now, here's SVP.